Why wait till November 25th? It's Black Friday all month long at Doral Hyundai. Lease any new Hyundai and receive $8,500 off MSRP or no payments till 2017. Like an all-new 2017 Elantra for just $99 a month. Only at Doral Hyundai.
She was a key witness in one of the most notorious excessive force cases against police in recent South Florida history.
But just days after testifying against a police officer, Jessica Mooney was arrested herself and was herself badly beaten by law enforcement officers.
And now she tells her story for the very first time to Local 10 investigator Bob Norman in a report you'll see only on Local 10.
A homeless man pushed down, then slapped by a Fort Lauderdale police officer.
Get up.
It was a video seen round the world, and it led to a highly publicized trial.
He showed aggression towards me.
For Officer Victor Ramirez.
All I did was try and help somebody.
24-year-old Jessica Mooney was there. Her boyfriend shot the video, and she testified at that trial.
I testified because it was the right thing to do, because the cop was wrong.
Not guilty.
But just 8 days after the officer's acquittal in March, she says it happened to her. These photos were taken after an incident between Mooney and Broward Sheriff's deputies.
I mean, how does it make you feel when you see these
I don't
pictures?
even want to see them.
It happened after Fort Lauderdale police arrested her for allegedly failing to pay a restaurant bill while she walked home with her 5-month-old baby. Mooney's attorney, Scott Hecker.
The allegation was that she handed her child to a stranger, hold the child. Eventually she was arrested for neglect and petty theft.
The theft charge was dropped when it was determined she'd in fact paid the bill. A misdemeanor neglect charge remains pending. Mooney admits she had been drinking that night, and police report she was unruly. During fingerprinting at the jail, deputies alleged Mooney was yelling profanities. She claims a deputy named Amanda Marino was verbally abusing her.
I asked her for her badge number or her name. Her hair was covering it.
She said she moved the deputy's hair.
One finger. She smashed my face on the fingerprinting thing.
That's when 3 or 4 more deputies jumped in, but her memory is hazy.
I don't know whether I lost consciousness or if my body just went into shock. I believe I had a footprint on my rib cage. Cuts everywhere inside my mouth from just being brutalized. I just never want to see anything like this happen again. Like, can we stop for 1 second?
Sure.
Marino and other deputies told prosecutors that Mooney, quote, violently pulled Marino's hair, forcing them to free the deputy from a grip. There is surveillance video of the incident, but officials are refusing to release it, citing a recent legal opinion from the Office of Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, who says the release of such video compromises government security.
You see her hand go up to the front and go like this.
Attorney Hecker was able to view the video and says it contradicts the deputy's story.
And it's not a fist and it's not a grabbing motion as the deputies say, it's moving away.
Mooney said it was only after she was assaulted that she grabbed the deputy's hair in self-defense. The surveillance video doesn't show what happened once she went to the ground.
Everybody on top of her, she's underneath these people. You see arms move.
Once Deputy Marino was extricated, she went back towards Mooney.
It appears as though she's getting ready to kick the defendant, and as she lifts her leg, she falls.
The deputy falls.
The deputy falls on her rear end.
The state attorney's office, citing a lack of evidence, chose not to file charges against any of the deputies in the case. But Mooney has obtained a civil attorney.
It never should have happened. The only people who were violent in this case were the BSO detention deputies.
In Fort Lauderdale, Bob Norman, Local 10 News. While Mooney suspects that the incident may have been retribution for testifying in the police case, Bob tells us he found no evidence that shows that to be the case. BSO refused comment, saying the incident remains under internal investigation.
Days after testifying against officer, deputies beat woman. Woman says she went from witness to victim of police violence. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The cell phone video of a Fort Lauderdale police officer pushing down a homeless man and then slapping him while the man sat harmlessly on the pavement at the Central Bus Terminal spread around the world like wildfire. It also led to criminal charges and a highly publicized trial for Officer Victor Ramirez. At the heart of both the video and trial was a 24-year-old woman named Jessica Mooney. She can be seen in the video, which was shot by her boyfriend at the time, later reached out to the victim, Bruce LeClaire, and then testified against Ramirez at his trial with the hope that it would help to stop any similar abuse from happening again. More Bob Norman headlines. Arizona officer on leave after punching woman during arrest. Surveillance video shows savage attack at Miami Gardens restaurant caught on camera. Pinellas County deputy hurts woman during arrest. All I did was try to help somebody, said Mooney. I testified because I thought it was the right thing to do, because the cop was wrong. But just 8 days after the trial ended with the officer's acquittal in March, it happened to her. She was badly beaten by Broward Sheriff's deputies at the jail after she was arrested by Fort Lauderdale police. The photos of the aftermath show Mooney, a 5-foot, 2-inch, 120-pound woman, with a grotesquely swollen face, a gash over her eye, and bruising all over her arms, torso and legs. Her criminal defense attorney, Scott Hecker, says there can be no good explanation for the beating. It never should have happened, he said. You would think that training would prevent deputies from beating a woman like this. You're in jail, but it's supposed to be a safe environment. It's supposed to be a controlled situation. Here, unfortunately, the people in control were out of control. When interviewed, Mooney could barely bring herself to look at the photos and broke down after seeing them. She says she has lasting physical ailments from the beating, including occasional seizures. I never want to see this happen to anyone again, she said, before breaking into tears. Can we stop? The incident occurred after an admittedly intoxicated Mooney was arrested for failing to pay a restaurant and bar bill at the Quarterdeck in Fort Lauderdale. Police arrested her while she was walking home with her 5-month-old baby in tow. The allegation was that she handed her child to a stranger to hold the child, he said. Eventually she was arrested for neglect and petty theft for the money that was owed to the restaurant. The theft charge was later dropped when it was determined she had in fact paid. A misdemeanor neglect charge remains pending. It was later during fingerprinting at the Broward County Jail that the incident occurred. According to a state attorney's office investigation into the incident, deputies allege Mooney had yelled profanities at them. Mooney said a deputy named Amanda Moreno was verbally abusing her. She said she asked for her name and badge number, but couldn't see it because her hair was covering it. With one finger I went like this, she said, brushing her own hair away. She smashed my face on the fingerprinting thing. 3 or 4 more deputies jumped in. I don't know if I lost consciousness or if my body went into shock, she said. I believe I had a footprint on my rib cage. They split open my eyebrow. The whole inside of my mouth had cuts everywhere, just from being brutalized. I was on the floor. Moreno and other deputies, however, told prosecutors Mooney didn't simply brush the deputy's hair but violently pulled it, according to closeout memo authored by Assistant State Attorney Ryan Kelly. Mooney's attorney, Hecker, says he was allowed to see jail surveillance video that captured parts of the incident, and that what he saw contradicts the deputy's stories. You see her hand go up to the front and go up. It's not a fist and it's not a grabbing motion as the deputies say, said Hecker. It's moving away. He said the video then shows Mooney go down and several deputies standing over her, though the actual beating can't be seen while Mooney is on the floor. What you can see in the video is everybody on top of her, he said. She's underneath these people. You can see arms move. He said that once Deputy Moreno was extricated, she went right back towards Mooney. It appears as though she's about to kick the defendant, and as she lifts her leg she falls, Hecker said. The deputy falls on her rear end. The state attorney's office is refusing to release the video, even though it is part of what is now a closed investigation and would normally be a public record. Prosecutors cite a recent legal decision from Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi's office that basically opines that government surveillance video footage isn't public record because its release could compromise government security systems. Hecker notes that in this case surveillance video paid for by taxpayers meant to safeguard the public is being withheld in a way that could protect deputies from bad behavior. Conversely, the release of the video could vindicate those same deputies in the eyes of the public. Hecker said he intends to get a copy of the video through a court order. Prosecutor Kelly concluded that the video does not contain sufficient evidence to charge Marino or any other deputy with the crime. He noted in his report that the video shows Marino going back at Mooney and falling to the ground, but determined that her intent was unclear. While Mooney suspects that the beating was retribution for her previous testimony, there has been no evidence found to support that is the case. "It never should have happened," said Hecker. "The only people that were violent in this case were the PSO detention deputies.